The low poly Bentley event that I have launched on my Discord server has now come to an end. This means that by joining to my Discord server you can now vote for the best Bentley that have been created during this event. Before we will go ahead and compare the Bentley that I have created to the Bentleys that some of my community members have created, we need to finish my Bentley that we have already started to recreate in the last episode. So let's start right with chapter 1. The details. With Shift and A, I have opened up the add menu so that I could go ahead and add in a new cube to the scene. I moved the cube to the front and have scaled it down to the size of the front license plate. Then I have deleted the left half of the license plate so that I could go ahead and add in a mirror modifier, and to make the license plate even smoother I have added in a bevel to the corners. Then I have selected both of these faces right here and have inserted them by pressing I, and then with both of the inserted faces selected I have pressed P and clicked on selection to create a new object so I could add in different materials. What I have noticed about this car right here is that the license plate holder has the same color as the car body, and like this it seems like the license plate is floating. So with the license plate already finished, we can move to chapter 2, the headlights. I have duplicated the outline vertices of the chrome ring and have separated both of the circles into a new object. With I have inserted the circle in just a little bit, and then with E and Y have extruded it back. Like this, I had the inner space for the headlight, which I have colored black, and if you're interested in a complete step-by-step course on how to create a low poly car in Blender, you can check out the link in my description. And now to model the headlight bulb itself, I have added in a new circle to the scene and have scaled it down to the appropriate size. By pressing F to fill in the face and an I to insert it, I have created a basic frame, and by doing some extrusions I have also created the second part of the headlight. I have extruded the frame back and have scaled it up until it looked good, and then I started to fill in all of the blank space in between. I tried to recreate the diamond shape by triangulating all of the faces, and although it didn't seem that right, after I have applied the materials it actually started to look quite good. I have then duplicated this complete headlight part to the second part of the headlight, and after merging a lot of vertices and creating the last part of the headlights, which is the glass, the headlights of this car were already finished, and we can move on to chapter 3, the side mirrors. To start off the side mirror, I always duplicate one single vertex from the car body and separate it into a new object. Then I take this vertex and extrude it all the way to the right side, and with the loop cut function by pressing Ctrl and R, I add in some vertices and align them onto the blueprint line. Then I take all of these vertices right here and extrude them up just a little bit on the Z axis. Then I can trace down the upper line of the side mirror with some new vertices, and then I can already fill in the faces. For the bottom part of the side mirrors I have done basically the same, and after I had the basic shape ready, I could delete some faces and finish off the side mirror by making it stick to the car. With that already done, we can move on to chapter 4, the door handles. By pressing K, I open up the knife tool and first cut out the circular shape where you put your hand in, and after moving it a little bit into the car, I have added in a new cube to the scene and have scaled it down to the size of the door handle. By adding in some loop cuts and extruding the top and the bottom vertex line into the car and adding a bevel to make it look smooth at the same time, the next part of the car was already finished, and we can move on to chapter 5, the taillights. Just as usual, I have duplicated the outline vertices, pressed F to fill in the face, and then have moved the inner vertices a little bit into the car. Then I have basically repeated the same step so that I could go ahead and model the low beam headlights out of it, and after adding in the right material it already started to look very sick. I have then once more created the same step, and of course the real Bentley taillights are way more complicated than what I have recreated, but as we are doing this in low poly, we don't need to have that many details. To create the diamond look, I have again triangulated all of the faces, and after adding in the last couple of materials, we can continue with the last big missing part on this car, chapter 6, the wheels. I've added in a new circle to the scene and have reduced the vertices down to 25. Then I have scaled down the circle and have moved it to where it needs to be, at the beginning of the rim. With all of the vertices from the circle selected, I have pressed Shift and S to put the 3D cursor to the selected parts, which means to the middle of the circle. With this, I first imported the reference image of the rim and have scaled it up to the needed size, and after creating a backup circle, I have deleted all vertices except of 6, and out of these 6 vertices, I have started started to model the rim. While modeling the rim, I've played around with the pivot point set to medium point and the pivot point set to 3D cursor. This is needed to make the rim look symmetrical and clean. And after I have finished up this one part of the rim, I first separated it into the two colors that I have seen, and then from the side view I could rotate it with the pivot point set to 3D cursor to get the complete rim. Then I have added in the red materials to the rim, and with the backup circle I started to model a basic tire. As I had a big gap between the rim and the tire, I have made a second rim part, and although both of the rim parts are not connected to each other, if you don't know how it's made, you will never notice a difference. With a new circle I have added in a basic brake disc, and after this I have accidentally started with the new chapter, chapter 7, the face orientation. By checking the box face orientation in the shading menu, I have seen that a lot of faces were red, which means that I had to recalculate them using Shift and N, and after I finished this task, I've imported a basic brake caliper to this car right here and have placed it to where it needs to be to finish off the first wheel. And to organize the workspace, I have created 4 new folders for the 4 wheels that I have, so that I will go ahead and duplicate the first wheel to the other 3 places that I need. And after renaming all of the objects, we can move on to the last chapter, chapter 8, the car panel gaps. While modeling, I already made sure that I have some edges where I need to add in the car panel gap. Then I took the vertex at the beginning and at the end and have separated it into a new object. Then I took all of the edges and with Shift and B have added in a bevel with 2 segments. Then I took all of the needed vertices and have placed them into the car to create the panel gap. I have repeated the same process all over the car where I could find some panel gaps on the reference image. So for example at the front bumper right here, then of course at the door, at the side fender, then I continued at the back, beginning at the back bumper, and I have finished it off at the trunk area. So now the car was already finished and we can move on to chapter 9, the final render. So at the background right here, you can see the final renders of my car. In my opinion, this is one of the better cars that I have created recently, and I would highly appreciate your feedback on this car, so feel free to leave a comment and tell me if I have missed any details. Now in the event, not only I have created a Bentley, but some other community members have created a Bentley too. So let's move on to chapter 10, the submissions. King Alex is one of my community members on my Discord server, and he has created this Bentley right here. As far as I know, this is the same Bentley that I've created too, but only a newer version. What I miss in this car are some details at the side windows, but I have to say that the rims look absolutely stunning. So thank you very much for taking part at the event, and good luck in the voting. Extra Nexus is one of my newer active community members, and he's also my
Russian bratan.
And he has not only created 1, but 2 Bentleys for this event. And I have to say that the Bentayga looks already good, but he absolutely nailed the old one. Now these were only some of the submissions that I have received during this event, and if you want to see all of the other submissions and take place at the voting to decide who won this event, then don't hesitate to join our Discord server right now. If you're at this point interested in how to model a complete low poly car in Blender for yourself, you can go ahead and check out my full step-by-step beginner course with the first link in my description. My kings and queens, I wish you all the best for the future, and we will see us in the next video.